Hey, how you doing? I'm back and I'm going to talk about information. Information. You know, the saying, the saying that a little bit of information is a dangerous thing. Yeah, it can be. The truth shall set you free. Well, the truth and information are not one and the same. And truth is your own. Information is communication, but it's often marred by point of view, which is great if it's your point of view, but we don't all share the same point of view. We're all individuals who see things through our own eyes, through our own lens, through our own experiential life. And all of that's great. And we need to allow each other to have our own experience. And that also includes how we interpret information and how we disseminate information and what resonates. I'm seeing, there's an information overload out there. It's so easily disseminated. And that really is a challenge. It's a challenge to all of us to allow ourselves to have our own experience and not try and glom onto somebody else's or to fit somebody else's experience into our lives so that we can have that experience. You can only have your own experience and be happy with that because it's a wonderful thing. Now, information as it relates to data, I've talked about this before. Data is a record of an event or elements within that event or that artifact. It's an accounting. Now, how we relate to that is emotional. Emotion carries with it more information than data. This is something a computer doesn't understand. This is where we got to rein in AI, because unless it gets to the point where it awakens and it can experience emotions, which is something that exists on a higher dimensional plane, and is something that only those imbued with that spirit are able to gather as pure information. Emotion is information. And it's vast, the amount of information contained within every emotion you experience. Data is something that we can utilize to go out and seek experience. Information gathering on an individual basis. But as it relates to truth, truth is your own. So there's a lot of confusion, and why I'm talking about this is I'm getting concerned. And of course, concern is an emotion, and with that carries information that only I can interpret. Each of us has an emotional wavelength that is unique to us. So the information you gather is going to make sense to you and only to you. Now, I'm sharing this as what could be seen as informational based. I'm sharing my information with you, but how you connect with it is going to be your own. And so I'm seeing an awful lot of people out there right now within the enlightened community pontificating. They're out there disseminating information as fact. Facts are merely agreements. I've talked about that before. So what we agree to is certainly the way we come together as a community, as a collective unit of, experiential beings who work and play together. So we need to make these agreements, but I'm watching some of our people within our community and our thought leaders and people on the forefront of monitoring how this shift is taking place, kind of get into an area where if they don't come right out and say that they know what the truth is and to listen to them wholeheartedly because they're your guide, they're implying it. And I'm watching things sort of splinter off, and some people are getting left behind. They don't even realize it, and the followers don't realize what's happening. Some of you do. You do. But it's a growing concern, because if we remain stuck in a place where we think we know exactly what's going on, we will be lost, because things are changing moment by moment. Time is not what it once was. Our experience of time as a linear potential for future experience, well, the future and the past are all illusions in the first place, but it's how we guide ourselves through this world. And it's been very useful, but now we're going to have to get used to the idea that things don't work the same way anymore. And there are certain forces at work who are trying to rein that in and trying to maintain a grid which is unmaintainable. And so they're using all sorts of tactics, and they're getting through to people who should be able to spot what's going on. And I'm worried. Worry is an emotion, and again, emotions are the key to everything, because that's the greatest amount of information that you will be able to gather. So I just want to put this word out there, that you can't rely on what you've known to carry you into where we are headed, because it's changing too fast, and the resonance of the third dimensional reality is not fitting in to the resonance of the 4 and 5D resonance of our burgeoning new world. Those who've made predictions of the past are now over. Predictions of the present are extremely difficult. So where was I? Battery went dead. So I had to replace that. All right, I'm back. Predictions. Predictions of the past, forget about it. Predictions of the present about what's coming next, you can get a sense of it, but only through your own lens, your own personal experience. So telling others what's coming next, that's dicey at best. And those who've got the arrogance, and I'm sorry, but it's arrogance to think that you are the guide for us. I'm not your guide. The most I can hope to do is inspire. Inspiration is pure emotion. Information itself is not based upon emotion. And what makes our world habitable is the information contained within emotion. And what allows us to create is that emotional gift. that emotional tie to our reality and our environment and all of that. So if you look at information as a springboard for creativity, an artist, a real artist, works alone with his thoughts, then may get together with a group of others who will help bring that creative idea to the forefront so that it can be shared with others. So I guess my only concern is that certain people are sort of getting caught up in their own informational data, their own informational point of view. And information is a point of view. Like I said, we're individuals, and the greatest amount of data, greatest amount of information comes through your emotional antenna. And emotion can only be interpreted by the individual and then shared in a way that may be inspirational. But it cannot be taken as a directive. So, hopefully I'm making some kind of sense. Still getting over my cold, so if I'm hazy, maybe that's the reason. But then again, I don't want to be too direct in what I have to say, because you need to take it and understand it in a way that resonates with your emotional body and allows you to create what you're going to do next and how we are going to work together, because those forces are what this reality is becoming. And love is the key, so I love you, and talk to you again later.